Hello guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be building another budget shooter's belt, this time the Wosport Tactical WRC lightweight combination belt. Now the reason I went with this belt is I wanted to test out a lightweight shooter's belt. Straight out of the packaging, this belt only weighs 289 grams, which is extremely lightweight. How this is achieved is, rather than using traditional webbing where you need quite a thick layer of fabric for rigidity, the belt is made up of a thermoplastic core that doesn't require the same thickness to be rigid, with removable nylon sleeves that can be repositioned. This sleeve is in MultiCam and can be moved anywhere you like to mount your pouches. This sleeve also has the hook Velcro for velcroing onto the inner belt. Right, so let's get into the setup. So inside the package you have an inner Velcro belt, and then you've got this plastic core, which is this black material you can see, and then these outer MOLLE sleeves with the hook Velcro to attach to the inner. And then you've got two types of buckles which you can use. So there's this G-hook style buckle which is already attached, and then you also have the option of a smaller Cobra buckle. So the first thing I'm going to do is size the belt and lock the end sleeves in place. So to show you how to do that, firstly you have to unvelcro these ends, and then you can pull out this plastic core, and the end sleeve has this thermoplastic lock which slots into these grooves on the belt. So what you have to do for this is slot it in like this. It's a little bit fiddly, but then what you get is you get that locked in place like that. You can just cover it with the sleeve, so just Velcro over, and there you have it. So that's locked in place for one side. So one thing that's good about this belt is this side of the belt can actually extend a little bit further across and then slide in on the other side. This allows you greater rigidity on the belt along the front. If you just had webbing shooter's belt with a buckle here, sometimes it can sag along where the webbing connects to the buckle. So the fact that you've got this thermoplastic which extends all the way to the other side just gives you that greater rigidity. So what I'm going to do first is just to measure it against my waist, and just to see where I need to position this sleeve on the other side. Right, so this belt is pretty much a perfect fit for me. So I'm just going to lock this sleeve on the last two slots. Let's just slot one here, and then slot the on the top and on the bottom. So just slot on the other side, you've got these slots, and then you've got this bit of thermoplastic which you can thread through and lock in place. So that locks the end sleeves in place. So now that that's locked in place, the next thing to do is to add the buckle on. Right, so to do the buckle, what we're going to do is undo this webbing strap on one side. So just unthread that out, and then this is the female end, so I'm just going to thread that in on the female end and then thread that back in again. So that's the female end in place. And then just going to do the same on the other side for the male buckle. Now what I'm actually going to do is I'm not actually going to remove this this G-hook. So the reason behind that is G-hooks are actually quite useful. So these G-hooks would fit a standard 25mm webbing. So if any of your buckles fail, you can use this to replace the buckle. So this G-hook allows you to hook onto another piece of webbing. So you don't need a standard buckle which has a male part and female part. You can just rely on this single G-hook to do the job. So I'm going to leave that on there just in case I have any like broken buckles, then I can use that as a replacement. And then I'm just going to put this metal buckle on like so. And then tidy that webbing away. Alright, so that's attached. And you can see the buckle can just clip in place like that. So you want to adjust this to yourself. So I'm just going to do that now, just to make sure it fits all right. That's a little bit loose, so I'm just going to tighten it a little bit. Right, that's pretty much a bang on perfect fit now. So just takes a couple of adjustments and then you'll get there. Right, so now we've got our buckle set up. The next step is to mount some pouches. So I've bought some new pouches here, which you can see displayed out front. And you may have noticed these two pouches from my previous video. So this is the general purpose pouch, and this is the IFAK pouch, which I did in the AliExpress video. I bought these two again because I've been pretty impressed with the quality. So I thought I'll buy another set for this belt. And also this pouch is sort of like a multi-purpose pouch. I think it was designed originally for a banger, but you can also fit a single 5.56 mag on there, so it's quite useful. I bought two Kydex pouches for pistol mags. And then this is an interesting pouch. It is a general purpose pouch, but also it has space on the back, so you can fit a single 5.56 magazine and also a single pistol pouch. And then you've got essentially this general purpose pouch, so you've got a main compartment which is just Velcro sealed. So useful pouch. I may not fit everything on there, so it might be the case that I won't be using this general purpose pouch, but we'll see. Also, I've got a water bottle pouch. So one of the requirements sometimes is if you're using a shooter's belt, that you're required to still have water on you. So this is useful. So I won't always have this mounted, but if it's regulation, then I would swap out one of my pouches for this. And then I will also be cannibalizing some of my pouches from the earlier shooter's belt I did. So this is the Temu shooter's belt I did. So this is my first shooter's belt, and I'm going to be taking off the 5.56 mag pouches on here, the Kydex pouches, and then reusing them. Just so I'm not buying like loads and loads of gear. So what I've done is I've loosely mounted all the pouches, which is actually miraculous because I wasn't expecting to get all these pouches on. So I've loosely mounted these pouches. So now I'm just going to fit it to myself just to see if the pouches are where I want them to be. And then after I've established that it's in the correct position, I'm going to properly fix these pouches in place so it's properly fitted. So I'm just going to fit that now. Right, so we've got pistol pouch, 5.56 pouch, 5.56 pouch, and in here I've actually got my general purpose pouch, and the reason behind that is I want to be able to add additional magazines here. Next I've got my med pouch pretty much on my 6 o'clock, and then I've got my water bottle pouch here, my general purpose pouch, and my banger pouch. I'm quite happy where these pouches are positioned. I can see that's not going to obstruct me in any way when I'm moving about. So now I'm going to fix these properly in place. Now I have the pouches securely mounted on the belt. I just want to go through each of these pouches and break down the costs. To start with, we have the 9mm mag pouch here, which costs £8.40 for the pair. We have the 5.56 magazine pouches, which cost £8.40 per pouch, so that's £16.80 for the pair. These, as I mentioned before, were the ones I took off my Temu shooter's belt. All the other items are from AliExpress. Next up, the general purpose pouch with the magazine holders. This costs £10.39. Then the IFAK, which costs £13.26. And the water bottle pouch, this costs £11.35. So these pouches are actually designed to fit a 1 litre Nalgene water bottle. I have a PlatAttack 1 litre water bottle in there at the moment. The other GP pouch, which costs £15.03. Then we have the banger pouch, which costs £8.95. The belt itself, this costs £26.59, so dirt cheap for a shooter's belt. And in total, this costs £110.77. So in terms of a shooter belt setup, a whole fully kitted out shooter's belt, that is really, really cheap. So no problems with the price. A lot of these items you'll see on AliExpress, they seem to be copies of Western brands. So they might not be like exact copies, but they're very similar, and they're essentially budget versions of these more premium brands. So I did a little bit of research with the items. So previously I already found out that the GP pouch and the IFAK pouch, they're copies of essentially Agilite products. So the Agilite GP pouch and the Agilite MD2 IFAK. And then a couple of these other items are also seems to be copies of Western brands. So this banger pouch appears to be a Ferro Concept copy. This other GP pouch with the magazine holders at the back, so this seems to be a copy of the Spiritus system, just the pouch. What I tend to find is if you're buying things off AliExpress, if you find items that are essentially copies or budget versions of the Western brands, you tend to get high quality products. So this brings me to the belt itself. So the belt seems to be a copy of the HRT Arc belt, so the first version of it. If you do a Google of the belt, and you'll see it's very, very similar. The slots are cut in a slightly different way, so it's not exact, but it's pretty close copy of the belt. So just to go through the features of some of these pouches, these Kydex pouches have malice clips at the back for securing onto the shooter's belt rather than traditional webbing straps. These are very secure. The retention system is purely from the Kydex insert, so there are no bungee cords or flaps to keep the magazines in place. Just a pouch copy, pretty decent quality. Webbing straps at the back for securing onto the belt, and the mag holders at the back of the pouch are elastic loops secured in place with Velcro, so you can easily remove these and put a different hook and loop organizer in there. And then at the front, the pouch is literally just a Velcro pouch. The inside, there's two compartments, so there's a smaller compartment and a bigger compartment, and inside as well, you've got some loop Velcro, so you can attach organizers onto it. At the bottom of the pouch, you've got a grommet for drainage, so if the pouch gets wet, it'll drain out the water. I've covered the IFAK before on my other video, so if you want to have a look at that video too, where I'll go through the details of the pouch, so I'm not going to repeat myself. And then the water bottle pouch is quite simple construction. It's just the laminate material, and then you've got a buckle in place to hold the bottle in place. So I quite like this material because it's very lightweight. Yeah, it just doesn't retain water, so it has a benefit if you get wet in the rain. It's not gonna weigh you down. Again, GP pouch, I've covered this before in the AliExpress shooter's belt video, so if you go have a look at that video, I'll go through more details in there. And then finally, we've got the banger pouch. So this pouch is quite interesting in that this flap is attached using Velcro. So this makes the pouch more versatile, because if you have longer items in there, you can adjust it so the flap is longer, or you can move it down slightly if you've got a smaller item, and then you can essentially have a flush fit. Now, I'm quite a big fan of these multi-purpose pouches, because essentially I don't need a pouch I don't need a separate pouch for each item. If I have a pouch for something like this, I can hold a grenade in there, I can hold a smoke in there, I can hold a banger. I don't need a dedicated pouch for each. So, big fan of these pouches. I'm quite happy with how this belt's turned out. Very happy with the pouches as well. Decent quality pouches, decent quality belt. Now, who would I suggest getting this belt? So I think this belt is for someone who wants a really, really good fit. So the benefit of having the sleeve and the plastic core separate is that you can essentially remove the sleeve and cut down the core if you wanted it smaller. So you can essentially get a bigger belt and then just cut it down to the exact size that you want. So I think it's for anyone who wants a really good fit. A lot of these standardized sizes is like, you know, small, medium, large, or I think this belt only comes in medium and large. If you don't fit within the perfect sort of sizing, it can feel a bit like, it just doesn't feel that snug on your person. So I think this belt is actually quite good for women as well. The reason being that, like, most belts you see out there are designed for men. Most people in the military are men. So a lot of these sizings don't take into account women's sizing. So if you wanted to get this belt, then you can cut it down, size it to your waist. So generally women will have a slimmer waist than a man. Right, and that's it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you think of this belt. If you got this belt as well, drop in the comments to say how you got on with it. I'm going to take this belt away and put it through its paces and test it out, make sure it's going to hold up. And I'll probably do a review at a later date just to show you my findings. Thanks for watching. If you got value out of this video, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.